Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome to episode number 2 of the FBA Podcast. And I'm your host Ryan, and I'm going to walk you through exactly the process that I use every month to bring in between $5,000 and $10,000 from Amazon's FBA program. Now, I'm going to talk today about retail arbitrage, and I'm only going to spend this episode talking about it because I've prepared what I view as a complete course in getting started in FBA over at teachmefba.com. Now, it's a free course. It walks you through exactly all the steps that I'm going to talk about today on the podcast, and it's over there in video format, again, at teachmefba.com. So go check it out. It's gonna get you started from scratch even, and teach you all of my little, my tactics and that sort of thing, again, that I'm going to cover in this podcast, but it's going to be in video format. You can go back and watch it over and over again, and I actually bring you into the stores with me. I actually take you, to where I'm scanning the products, and then I take you to a UPS store and show you exactly how I list and ship products. So it's very complete, very thorough. If you're just getting started, or if you just want to learn maybe a few new things about it, see how someone else does their FBA business, you can go over to teachmefba.com and download that free course. Now, with that, as sort of a preface to this episode, today we're going to talk about retail arbitrage. And I want to begin just by talking about, what is retail arbitrage? Why do I love it so much? And then I'm going to break down for you the 7 steps that I use to run my FBA business. And it's very simple. I think you can go online and you can pay thousands of dollars for a course like this, or even the content I'm going to give you. You can pay, a lot of good money for that, but you don't need to. It's all right here. It's for free. Let me walk you through it and then get started. The biggest thing is just get started on it. It might seem too good to be true. Some things that are good are true. So make sure you try this out if you're just trying to start off in FBA business. And I think it's a great way to get an inside look at how a business on Amazon is run, and it's a cheap way to get started too. So hopefully you can take what you've learned here and begin to grow an income from Amazon's FBA program. So then you can dive into what we're going to talk about the rest of this podcast, which will be not this podcast, but the FBA podcast series. We're going to talk about private labeling. We're going to talk about wholesaling. We're going to talk about, creating a brand and that sort of thing. So use this episode as a stepping stone to get started. Check out the course that I've created for you over at teachmefba.com. And, just take action getting started. It's a great time to be alive. There's a lot of opportunity out there. Don't let it pass you by. Now, what is retail arbitrage? Okay, retail arbitrage has been around for a long time. And really, simply, this is what it is. You're going to go into a store. You're going to go to a clearance section, and you're going to find products there that are deeply discounted. So maybe you go into a store and you go to a clearance section and you find, let's say espresso glasses. And if you're watching the video of this, you can see that that's what I just did. I went into a Walmart and I found espresso glasses in their clearance section. Now, I purchased those espresso glasses for $5, but it turns out that they sell online for between $25 and $30. And so what I did was I purchased them, and then I'm going to go and list them on Amazon and sell them and make the profit on the difference. And so that is what retail arbitrage is. Now, why do I love retail arbitrage? Well, for 2 reasons. The first one is everybody lives within 20 minutes of a Walmart. This is kind of my Walmart principle, right? Everybody lives within 20 minutes of a Walmart. And so you always have inventory readily available to you if you're willing to go out, put in the time, check out what Amazon put on clearance, purchase it, and list it. It's an easy way to get your business off and running and profitable. And the second reason I love it is just that, because it is profitable. There's a lot of people out there that are looking for a lot of different ways to make money online. I have not found a better way to generate revenue than than Amazon FBA. I've just not found it. It's great because you see immediate results. I told the story in the last episode. I'll tell it again. The first time that I sold products on Amazon, I went into a closing Best Buy or restructuring Best Buy. They had this huge clearance section. They were trying to get rid of stuff. So I went in there with my buddy who was just showing me the ropes of this new FBA thing. And I walked out with some digital cameras. And I listed them on Amazon, and then the next day, literally like I was sleeping, so I don't know exactly when they sold, but the next day, I woke up to an email that said I had sold these products. So you see progress very quickly if you find the right products. And we're going to talk about how to find the right products here in this episode. But that's why I love Amazon's FBA program, because it's really a quick way. It's not easy. It does take work, but it's a quick way to see immediate results and to start growing a business, a significant business. And I really look forward to the next episodes of the FBA podcast, where we're going to talk about actually growing a brand and private labeling and manufacturing, all this stuff. But right now, retail arbitrage, great way to get started, profitable way to get started. So let's just dive right in then to the process that I use. And before we dive into that, I want to preface it again. This is episode 2 of the podcast, so in my total life experience, I have done exactly 2 podcasts. This is the second one. So, I'm trying to get better at sound quality. I'm trying to get better at the visuals and that sort of thing if you're watching this on YouTube. I'm trying to get better at the speaking thing, but I'm not going to edit it. This is just a real guy. You're a real person too, so I hope this is relatable, and, this is a conversation. So just wanted to preface that with that. All right, my process to selling products on Amazon using retail arbitrage. Here's number 1. This is really the easiest way to get started. You need a cell phone. Most of you have a cell phone. So what you're going to do is you're going to download the Amazon app. There's a lot of different apps you can download out there to do retail arbitrage, but really what you want to do is you want to download the Amazon app. That's the app that I got started with. It's free. You don't have to pay for any bells and whistles. You don't need any bells and whistles. All you need to know is how much a product in a store sells for on Amazon. So purchase go and download the Amazon app onto your smartphone. That's step 1. Very simple. Step 2, find a discount or clearance store in your area, somewhere close to you. So a Walmart, a Goodwill, a thrift store, a Target, a Kmart, any of those things. You can even go into a Sears or a Kohl's or a sporting goods store, whatever you have around you that there's a clearance section. Check it out. Make sure, if you really want to get serious about this, you'll create a routine where every week or every month you'll stop by that store and see what have they just put on the shelves. What is new here? And then you can kind of get a feel as you get more knowledgeable, as you go to more stores, you can get a feel for the seasons of retail and what goes on clearance when. You can purchase it. You can develop a strategy for holding inventory if you want. One thing I'll say about that, just is kind of an interesting story. Last year, when I got started, I went into a Goodwill, and it was just after Halloween, and they had all of these different Halloween items on clearance. One of them were pumpkin carvers, a pumpkin carving set. And they had them there. It was like 50 cents for this pumpkin carving set. It was a really cheap set, but it was 50 cents or $1 or whatever it was. Well, I purchased about 100 of them, and then I held them in my closet for another year. And then once Halloween season started to pick up, once October started, these things on Amazon started to grow a lot of attention. So I shipped them into an Amazon distribution facility, and then I sold out of them in about a week. So 100 of them in a week, and I sold them for $10 each. So you can do the math there and see that I made about $9, about $7 profit after Amazon took their cut and after I paid for shipping and all this stuff. But that's just a unique thing, and I wouldn't have understood that unless I had spent a lot of time in stores scanning and getting a feel. And I definitely wouldn't have seen it if I hadn't made a regular routine out of going to that Goodwill store that I did. So for me, to pull in $5,000, just so between $5,000 and $10,000 depends on the products you find every month. But to do that, really, I go to 2 Walmarts and 2 Goodwills, and that does it for me. So you can kind of gauge there. Now, different sellers I've talked to will drive hours to go to different. They'll rent vehicles and trailers to go to different Walmart stores that they know are really good with marking items down on clearance. So develop your own strategy, whatever you want to do there. But that's what I do: 2 Walmarts, 2 Goodwills, and you can generate pretty substantial revenue. Now, number 3, when you go to these stores, you have your smartphone, you have the Amazon app. What you're going to do and this is the awkward part this is what really separates people. This is what people don't want to do about this business, but you have to do it if you want to be successful. You have to spend time scanning. Scan everything you can find. The more time you're in the store, the better, especially right away when you're getting a feel for this, because you're going to get better as you keep scanning items. So spend some time in stores, scan items, see what's even out there, what looks like it sells well, what doesn't sell well on Amazon. And when you scan, that's what you're going to look for. You're going to look for the price in the store and compare it to the price on Amazon. And now just a few things. I've got 4 little, tips that I want to share with you here. The first one to look for is a ×3 markup. You want to find something that, in the Walmart, we'll use Walmart as an example because a lot of people are familiar with it. So if you go into a Walmart and you go down the aisles and you see something for, I don't know, $2 that's on clearance, and on Amazon it sells for $20, right? That's something you want to purchase, right? That's a huge markup. Now, the markup that I look for is a ×3. So if you find something for $5, you should at least be able to sell it for $15 on Amazon. So, you can vary from that and differentiate your strategy based on the products and how well they're going to sell, how long they're going to, stay in an Amazon warehouse. But a ×3 markup is just something to look for. It's a good baseline and a good practice to begin with. Now, I'll tell you a quick story about how I've kind of gotten away from that ×3 markup every now and then. And here's an example. So if the product is more expensive and there's a larger profit margin, then I'm okay going for maybe a ×2 markup. An example of this would be, and this is a weird example, but it also demonstrates the awkwardness that you'll sometimes face when you're an Amazon seller scanning products, is I was in a Walmart in a clearance section and I saw a bunch of breast pumps, for nursing mothers. And so I picked up the package and I scanned it, and it was like $70 in the store, and it sold for $140 on Amazon. Now that's a $70 markup. That's only a ×2 markup, but it's still a $70 profit. And so what I did was I purchased all of them, and then I had to check out with 7 or 8 of these breast pumps, and it was very awkward. It was a very awkward situation. But I did it, and it was also a very profitable situation. So again, the principle of just scanning everything, right? I never would have picked that up, but it was kind of a diamond in the rough. You never know what you're going to find. And then also, getting away from that ×3 markup if the profit margin is there. Now, another example of getting away from this ×3 markup would be if the product is going to sell very quickly. I was in a Best Buy, and I was looking, just scanning everything. Happened to find some keyboards that were the #1 best-selling keyboard on Amazon. And for some reason in this Best Buy, it was marked down to, I don't know what it was. I can't remember the price exactly, but it was marked off like $30. So we'll say that it sold on Amazon for $100 and it was $70 in the Best Buy. Okay. Well, there were 5 of them, and I knew that if I could get these to the fulfillment center, that I then would sell those very quickly. And so I was able to get away from that ×3 markup, only take about a $20 or $25 profit after Amazon took their cut of that selling that keyboard, because I knew that the minute they got to the warehouse, they were going to sell. And so what I did was I purchased them all, and they did. They sold out right away when they got to the warehouse. The minute I got the email that the inventory had arrived at the warehouse, that was the same day that they all sold out. So that was kind of fun, to sell out of inventory in one day. So I'll do that if I know I can move a product fast. So ×3 markup, that's the first thing to look for. But you can, do what you want there, create your own strategy. That's just the rule of thumb. Now, the next thing that you want to look for is it replenishable? Now, you want to look for replenishable items because those are things that people are going to buy in bulk, and they're going to buy very often. I think the holy grail for retail arbitrage sellers out there are Brito water filters, right? It's a reputable brand that people know, people like, people use, and they need to buy replenishables. They need to keep buying them. And so they're not only going to buy them often, but they're also going to buy them in bulk. If you're going to use 20 Brita water filters this year, some people are going to purchase 20 at a time. And so that leaves room for you to purchase these and then sell them online, and they're going to move quickly. There's always going to be demand for them. So people are going to run out of them. People are going to do it. Air filters are another great item that's replenishable. People go through air filters a lot, and so that's one thing else that you can do. So replenishables, consumables, those sort of things. Now, the third kind of tip for what you should look for when you're scanning is it lightweight? So a lightweight item ships less expensive, and so you're able to ship it in there, and that preserves your profit margin, right? Because if you're not spending the money on shipping, and Amazon's cut is already fixed, then you're going to make money up there, and you can fit a lot of them in a box. There was one thing that I found in a store was these, and actually it's in the tutorial, it's on the video. They're little bracelet makers, and they're very small, very lightweight, and they were very cheap when I purchased them. So I bought a whole bunch of them. But even though I bought 100 of them, I was able to ship them very inexpensively because they were very lightweight, and with the markup and all that stuff, it was a great purchase for me. But that was just, there you go. You want something that's lightweight. Now the last thing is you want to, if you're really going to pick the perfect product here, you want something you can buy a lot of. And when I say a lot, I don't mean like pallets full. I just mean like, hey, if there's 6 or 7 of them, if you find a good deal, there's 6 or 7 of them in a store, buy them all. Don't be afraid to pull the trigger on purchasing a lot of a quantity, especially if you know that it sells. Now, the first time that you go out there and you purchase things, I understand you're going to be a little nervous. Yeah, don't go crazy with the credit. Don't ever go crazy with the credit card on this business. But don't go crazy with purchasing all these products if you don't know that they're going to sell. So buy a lot of them. Sorry, I just got this error on my program here. Would you like? All right, now the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th step are pretty simple. So here's what you're going to do. First, you need to register with Amazon. So now that you have products, now that you know how to scan items, now you need to go and you need to register on Amazon. And it's very simple, very straightforward. Amazon lets you register as either an individual seller or a professional seller. And if you're a professional seller, you're able to pay them about, I think it's at the time of this recording, it's about $40 a month, and then they don't take as big of a cut. If you're an individual seller, they charge you a little fee every time you sell an item. I'll let you figure that out, but go to Amazon, scroll all the way to the bottom of the page, and click on, I think it's sell on Amazon, and then set up your seller account. Now this is going to take you to step 5, which is to list your product. So you actually get to take your product, you have to type it in your keyboard, and it brings up the listing on Amazon, and then you're just going to list your product. Again, Amazon makes this very simple, very straightforward, so don't let this hold you back. Follow the tutorial, follow what I'm telling you, just put one foot in front of the other, go and list your product. Once you list your product, you're going to do what's called prepare a shipment, and you just click the button that says prepare a shipment, and then Amazon's going to take all the items that you have that you've listed, and they're going to say, okay, you need to ship them to this warehouse, and this warehouse is located wherever that is. They determine that whole piece, and usually mine is, for some reason, in Phoenix, Arizona, so I have to ship to Phoenix, Arizona often. And then the 7th step, and this is the one I like the best, Amazon sells the product for you, and you get an email that says this product is sold, and you just literally check your phone, and you continually make money from selling these products if they sell. Now, one thing I will say about pricing a product, don't be the person that tries to undercut everybody else. Because what this does is it starts to sort of, because when you list a product, I might have skipped over this, when you list a product, you're going to get to determine what the price you're going to sell it at is. And if you're going to undercut people just to try to move product, then they're going to continually undercut you. And so don't worry about being the lowest price. If you're in the bottom 3, if you got a really good product, then your product should sell. And other people are going to sell out of their product, and their listing will go away, and then your listing will be number 1. And so just don't be the person that undercuts. That's the advice I would give to you as you're going into this. So with that, that's pretty much my strategy. That's everything you need to know about how I generate my income from Amazon FBA every month at this point. Now, I said, in the upcoming episodes, I'm going to go into different strategies for private labeling, talk to you about what I'm doing. So stay tuned for those episodes. If you you've already done retail arbitrage and you don't want to do it again, then the next episodes are for you. But if you want to get started in Amazon, you want to start cheaply, you want to start quickly, retail arbitrage is a way to go. And again, I have a free tutorial course for you over at teachmefba.com. So you can sign up for that, watch those videos, great information there. And if you have any other questions, just feel free to email me over at FBApodcast.com. I'd love to hear from you. I love hearing from you guys. I've got some great comments already over there, and it's just fun to see what you guys are doing in your business. So with that, I'm going to see we're about at the 20-minute mark with this episode. I'm going to wrap it up. Look, I hope you have a great day today. I hope this episode was valuable to you. I hope you got something from it. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. I hope you just have a great day. Have a productive day today. And I will see you in the next episode of the FBA Podcast. Take care. Hey everybody, what's up? This is Ryan, and I just wanted to make a quick little short video just to tell you why all this stuff. Why is this place such a, well, it's not as much of a mess today as it was in other videos, but I said I would explain it. It's because I got married, and we have a lot of stuff because we just moved into an apartment, and I used to live in a house, a townhouse, and so now I have to downsize everything. So we got back from our honeymoon in Italy. It was awesome. And then now I have to find a way to store all of this stuff. And so I have to store it in my office. And it's a 2-bedroom apartment. We sleep in one of the rooms, and the other room I use for all of this. So if I'm going to just give you a quick tour, just so you know what that looks like. I kind of have it under control today. Some pictures over there. Do not look in the closet, right? That's where I throw everything. And then I've got all my books over here on this huge bookshelf. So that's just a little look at a little bonus footage there for you about what I'm dealing with as far as an office and all that. Products that I'm listing right now I've got over on the floor. So I'm working on getting organized and adjusting to this new lifestyle, and I appreciate the fact that you're willing to not leave me hate comments about that sort of thing. So anyway, just wanted to make that quick video. I will see you in some upcoming podcasts. Take care. Have a great day. I'll talk to you later.